Hey, it's the Fort Worth Playboy.
Is it? And my Playboys Bunny.
Welcome to our podcast.
Oh my goodness.
We discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
sex.
You were going to say something?
I was going to say, apparently we're stuttering our way through this morning.
And it hasn't even started.
And yet we're not going to restart it.
Today, what we're going to be talking about is early frame announcement.
EFA.
Which a lot of guys, this is one of those things that you might do it. You're presenting something.
Yeah.
You just don't know what you're presenting right now.
It's critical.
So sometimes when you finally can label what you're doing and you can kind of guide it, you have better outcomes.
I agree.
And basically what early frame announcement is where, when you first meet a girl, where you're coming from. Like, you're either the fun guy, you may be a little bit open to a more serious relationship, but it's who you are, what you're there for, and how this thing's going to work. And then she has to fall into your frame.
Yeah.
And the sooner you pronounce, kind of like start conveying this, and because these are women, you can't just go, hey, I'm looking for something casual. You have
I just want to fuck tonight and never talk to you again.
That would be an early frame announcement. and that right there is a type of announcement. But there's things that kind of get you to that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is one thing that you kind of mentally have to know before you go in. Are you the fun guy? And what we say is almost everybody has to be somewhere on the fun guy continuum in the beginning.
Right.
Girls are kind of repelled by guys that are super serious from the beginning.
Very much.
All their alarms go off. So even if she would be a good fit for you, you'll never get there.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to be, what we always say, what do we say? Let girls take care of the relationship.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, I can think of when I was on the apps, I remember that there were men who in their profiles would say they're looking for a wife, they're looking for an LTR, but like off the front end, they were like, I want a relationship. And there was almost that pressure in talking to them that it's not like they were relaxing and like seeing if you were a good fit before deciding to marry you. It was like, well, are we going to get married next week or the week after? I mean, it's traumatizing to women to see that all in your face like that, because we need to know that, like, what you're about, kind of make sure that we vibe first before. So early frame announcement of I want a wife, I'm ready to have kids, this kind of thing is terrifying to women. So, even if they truly are looking for a husband and want to have kids too.
Yeah. And we've talked about this because a lot of guys can't be alone.
Yeah.
And if they're relatively freshly divorced or they're just tired of being single after a couple years, they don't know to calibrate it. So at some point, you kind of, from the beginning, you have to kind of come across as the fun guy because you're going to qualify her.
Yeah.
And see where she's at.
It goes a long way.
Yeah. And that's just the one thing that you have to, you can go, well, I do want to get married and I'd like to do it like with him. But you can't convey that because of how many guys do that, and they do it in a sloppy manner, and so therefore it kind of scares off girls. So you have to, your early frame announcement can't be that.
Yeah.
It has to be somewhere on the fun guy continuum.
And truly, as the fun guy, then you have opportunity, whether you're running one girl at a time or multiples, which of course we recommend multiples, especially if you're truly vetting for a wife. But you can vet these girls and have others to compare them to at the same time in the same, time-space continuum. It goes a long way.
And if, early frame announcement is not making any commitments, and she's going to ask, really, what are you looking for? I'm just looking to meet some quality women or a quality woman.
Yeah.
You just have to leave it somewhat vague, but mostly you're drawing her out. But she knows that you're what you're about over time. And a lot of it's like, you know, you're not always available. You're a busy guy. You're not blowing up her phone. And a lot of it's what you're not doing.
Sure.
That so many guys do. She doesn't always know where you're at. You're not doing the good morning, good day, good evening text.
Yeah.
So a lot of that has to do with just slowing down, doing less, and letting her imagination work in your favor.
Yeah.
And that also, and like Bunny says, dating a few girls at the same time, which if you're not dating anybody, you're like, how the hell would I? It's a lot easier than it sounds.
Yeah.
You know, and it actually gives you a strategic advantage because, like she says, you can compare girls.
Mm-hmm.
You don't start thinking about one too much.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, you know, like I was saying, where you slow down texting and that, because you can't, because you're out.
Yeah.
You know, or you're like talking to somebody else.
And if you need tools in this area, if you aren't dating or you're only dating one and you would like to date more, or if you're not dating anyone and would like to kind of get back in the groove, Fort Worth Playboy has your dating rotation. He has your dating system. I have one-itis. If you're stuck on one girl and you're having no luck getting past her, we've got tools for you to utilize beyond this podcast if you need that next step, that next level information.
Exactly. Just the thing is, you have to know mentally when you're going into the first date from the very beginning, like where your head is and what the ultimate outcome should be.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can kind of know how to pace it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's hard to, what would you say, hard to define something that's very, very much, it's a conglomeration of behaviors.
A concept.
Yeah.
Well, and I know, like with us, I think it was, you know, I recognized from the get-go that you were more there for fun. And like I've told before, you know, you told stories about other women, and the way you told them, I couldn't necessarily tell whether it was a story from yesterday or from 20 years ago.
Right.
You just can't tell. But there was enough of it that I understood that you were dating other girls, that, you know, all of this stuff. But at the same time, there are still the conversations. Like, I do remember one night when we were out and I was like, you know, kind of the what am I to you? Kind of that kind of conversation. And it was good because that's where you're talking about, like, girls kind of directing things. You can be the fun guy until she kind of goes, okay, what is this? And then you can say, I'm here to have, you know, I'm glad I met you. Yeah. We're having a good time. I'm enjoying your company. That's where I am.
Exactly. It's easier to turn the volume up than to turn the volume down.
Yeah, because what I saw in the dating market was a lot of guys kind of going in hot, like trying to make something out of nothing. That's essentially what you are, because you're meeting a stranger and trying to create something out of nothing. And then it's like, oh, I don't really like that. I don't really like that she's doing that. Oh, we don't jive very well. And then it's backing off that gets difficult. Instead of,
there's a lot of hurt feelings.
It does. It hurts a lot of feelings. Instead of kind of easing in, like your system, like your dating rotation book, like your harem book, all suggest and give you the tools to do. That way, all you have to do is just keep turning that fire up on the girls that you really are enjoying spending time with.
Exactly. And you don't even notice, that's where you're dating a few girls, the ones that aren't working out, or their husband comes back in the picture. Because when you're dating a number of girls, they're all in their own space too.
Right.
And quite often, I would say 3 out of 4 times, like an ex-boyfriend comes back on the scene. They get remarried to their ex-husband. She didn't mention. Hell, some are engaged. They're not sure if this is the right guy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many stories, anomalies that they'll go, yeah, I went out with this girl, and the next week I saw like an announcement she's getting married.
Yeah. Seriously.
It happens so often
Yeah.
that you realize this is just something that is normal.
It's true.
You know?
It's true.
But the early frame announcement, going in as a fun guy, and then also, like she was saying, if you truly are looking just to be casual and relaxed, it helps avoid hurt feelings or where she feels like she's been led on.
Yes.
Or she feels like you misdirected her by still seeing other girls.
Yeah.
You never made any promises or agreements. Nothing
exactly.
blatant. That's on her.
Well, and I remember a story you told me. This wasn't me, but one of the girls that you were seeing, kind of in the front end of meeting me, was like, "I want you to stop seeing other girls," and you just laughed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like it was the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard.
Yeah. And she still kept seeing it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is a lot of guys who do this will tell you that the girl, sometimes she might step away for a little while. They'll tend to come back because you haven't been deceptive.
Yeah. They know what they're in for.
Yeah. Once they start thinking about it, they're like, well, you never did lie to me about it.
Yeah.
It's not like, because I do. Some guys reach out to me and they're like, hey, man, how do I keep these girls from, like, knowing about each other?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't help you with that because that's not the deal.
Because it's genuinely not a good idea to make, if you're running a rotation, to make one girl feel like or any of the girls, make them feel like they're the only girl.
Yeah, that is bad business.
You can rank them.
Yeah.
You're my number one girl.
You're my primary girl.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of the guys, they got a primary and then they have some backups.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no deception there. It's always, it might not be, hey, I'm banging other girls, because that's just kind of rude and it makes girls mad.
Yeah.
But the underlying current is, you're not available.
Yeah.
She can draw her own
She figures it out.
Yeah. They're not that naive. So that's the early frame announcement. It keeps you from getting into trouble with misunderstandings. It keeps you from hurting feelings.
That's a biggie.
And, leave them better than you found them. And then it allows you to kind of like have more freedom of steering. Because the girl's going to want a relationship.
Yes.
99%.
99.9% of the time.
At some point, at 12 weeks, 16 weeks, she'll start saying, 5 years. She'll start saying,
my gosh. You're so rotten.
What is this? It's just two fuck buddies going to the movies.
Such a nut.
So that's the early frame announcement. I hope that guy helps you guys, because a lot of it's mental. It's just like going in with a game plan.
Yeah. If you like this, like, subscribe, share with your buddies. Sorry that we can't make words today. I don't know, some days are hit or miss, but I hope you've gotten some good information from this, because the bottom line is we always want you to win. Bye!